Hi, Amy. This is Kelsey, and I am responding to your discussion board on the Gospel of Luke. After reading it, I found a lot of parallels between what you had said and then some of what I had said, but then also a couple of differences on different themes that you had picked up on that I am now considering and seeing that, oh, wow, I did see that, but at the time of going through it, it wasn't as in my face. So I wanted to kind of talk about some of the parallels we had first, in the sense that, you had talked a lot about Jesus spending time with sinners and how there were various examples of how he made them feel related to and connected, and that, he was just always there for them, spending time, setting this example of how you should be. And I wrote in a similar sense of talking about how I, as a social worker, see that as relational, in my sense of seeing that, anybody is worthy and deserving of opportunity. It doesn't matter what they've gone through, that they do deserve to be presented with opportunity to change and to grow and to learn and to be loved. And so I see the parallel in what you were saying and with how I took it. So I think that was very interesting to see how the different takes on him spending time with sinners, or people with diseases, and so forth kind of played out in your discussion board versus mine. So I really appreciated that comparison yet difference in the perspective. Another thing that you had mentioned was how Jesus was a people magnet. I didn't, I see it, or I understood it when I was reading, that, he drew these large crowds and that people would flock to him and they loved him and they wanted to be near him and they would travel and they would just come and gather to be with him. But I didn't necessarily put it together, as him being a people magnet of that source. I more saw it as in, this was a way, he was trusted. He was, so compassionate and giving, in just giving in grace and mercy and love and trust, that people saw him and wanted to come to him, because despite any of their challenges, they believed in him. And so that is what drew the crowd, not necessarily as him as a people magnet, but more in these different attributes that he held, which is why they flocked to him. And so I really enjoyed that perspective difference on, you viewing him in one light and me in the different light. However, both reading the same text, both reading the same gospel, and realizing, different ways that we have perspectives on who Jesus was relationally. So I really enjoyed reading your post and how you picked out numerous stories and experiences that Luke had written about on Jesus, so that we could read about him from not necessarily beginning to end, but different incidents throughout his life, and really look at that. I love that you talked about his love and connectedness, and that you took this as, hey, I need to look at this from a different light now, not necessarily just as me reading the Bible and going through, but looking at it from the lens of a qualitative researcher. I think I had never read the Gospel of Luke before in its entirety, and so for me it was very overwhelming, and then to also have to put it on as this lens of a qualitative researcher and how Jesus was relationally, it made it more difficult for me, that I had a lot more to digest. And so I think it's really great to see that you had already done this and now you were able to view it from a different perspective, and to see that these are the different themes that you got through the coding and the bracketing and going through and reading, and looking at the gospel, that you were able to view things in a different light than maybe you would have if you were just reading it freely. So again, I appreciated your post. I enjoyed reading it and seeing some of the comparisons and some of the differences that you and I had. And I wish you many blessings and greatness for the remainder of the semester.